So this is mass morality. Imposters parade in broad daylight, pretending to be what they are not, portraying abstract, idealized characters, saying whatever is necessary to fraud and sham, but unable to behave continually in character. Their costumes slowly unravel, revealing to the keen observer glimpses of the bone beneath their deceits. The masqueraders caught on cloth lash out, denying any wrongdoing, claiming for themselves a new role. In an instant, they become the victims of extenuating circumstances void of any responsibility. And you, who discovered their facade, are cast as the scoundrel in the drama for seeing through it, for demanding that the disguised ones don a cloak of accountability. How dare the rest of us require truth, honesty, and common humanity? Is not life challenging enough without those in our sanctum ascribing to betrayal, conspiring against us? Their cross is not mine to bear, only witness. Therefore I bless them. Keeping my mind focused and upright, I arrive at the only conclusion I can. I must forgive them as I want to be forgiven, because in truth, they understand not what they do.
Mm. And that last line, they understand not what they do. I mean, that's obviously an homage to the biblical thing of Jesus on the cross saying to, hey, forgive them, Lord, for, they do not know what they do. Yeah. And it's like that. Obviously that area of forgiveness comes in, but what would you say, like, what comes to your mind right now when you think mass morality? Is it like persons? Is it groups? Or is it just like kind of an indifference to, kind of the bullshit of life? Because like you were saying
it's all encompassing. It's the bullshit of life. It's what's going on in America. It's how we haven't dealt with this country and its history.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And it's personal. You see people like this in your life, and this is how they're living their life, and you're like, fuck, how are you functioning? How are you getting by in this world? Like, who is dealing with you? Because I see these people coming, and I have a good BS radar, and I like go the other direction. I don't have drama like people like this. This was more of me seeing people from a distance acting like this. Actually, let me take that back. I've had a few drama people like this in my life, but when I was younger, and then this is now seeing those drama people from a distance heading my way and knowing how to avoid them. Right. But this is also just basically with our leadership in the country.
That's what I was going to kind of point to as politicians. Because then it's like the red states and things like that, they're one thing, they say they're pro-life in one area, and then they're not.
They're killing people and giving you the
Doesn't
death
make
penalty.
Sense.
So it's like when you're in the room and you can't speak for yourself, we care. And then as soon as we bring you into this world and we put you into these circumstances, then when you make mistakes, we're not going to try to rehabilitate you. We're going to just take your life. But human life means so much, but it doesn't mean anything once you get here and you're a fully formed adult. So it doesn't make any sense. My friend who is more conservative he explained it to me, and I was like, I get how the explanation goes. It still doesn't make any sense.
Right.
If life is valuable, it's valuable from birth to death.
For sure.
It's not valuable in certain cases that you want to make it valuable.
You can't pick and choose.
Pick and choose.
Again, but that's that mass morality of sorts, because it's like, oh, well, in this case, because we just do that, then it's okay.
It's circumstantial. It's circumstantial morality. It's like in certain specific cases when this and this happens and all the things are formed just right.
But tell me a little bit, so not to cut off, but then the poem right before that is Judas. And so that's a little bit of a different kind of thing, because Judas is, it comes up with circumstances.
It was someone really close to you.
Exactly.
And so that is literally about a friend who was really close to me, and that's
right. And then but that's different than mass morality, because it's almost like in a mass, you're literally going above and beyond. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to deceive.
Well, you're trying to fool a lot of people when it's mass morality. This is like someone being on a world stage collectively lying to people, and Judas is about a single person lying and pretending to a single person. It's just like Jesus. Judas was the one who betrayed him, and he was one of the disciples.
Right, right.
So that's how it got the title. It's someone near and dear to you betraying you.
But at the ultimate level is forgiveness, though, like as you said, because for you know, they know not what they do in both cases in the grand scheme. You know,
in the grand scheme of
it's
things,
like you have to forgive that this is the things that are external factors that are happening to you, and that you don't have, you know, a way to deal with them necessarily.
Well, forgiveness was really important for me because I remember when I was not necessarily the nicest person and people forgave me.
Oh, okay.
And so it was always really important to me. You don't necessarily have to forget, and you don't necessarily have to be like crazy and invite someone who's, you know, drama or toxic back into your world, but you can release the energy and the animosity behind what they did to you and wish them to the best and hope that they definitely find their way as you were able to be forgiven by others, and then now you've come full circle and become better and found your way. So we each have to give that to each other for us to become better people and better versions of ourselves. It's not just I did it, you should be able to do it. I was able to do it because someone gave it to me. Right. And so you have to extend that to every person. Yeah. It has to be reciprocal. It's full circle.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from those, and I think the next one is 11408. I think
that's such a good one.
I think if
no, is that one? No, we're going out of order now.
No, I think it's which one? It's either that or Ascension. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Ascension. So right after, well, we can talk briefly, I guess, if you have something to say. Is 11408 is when Obama is elected.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I guess you can just talk some commentary about that.
So you know, this country has a very colorful history. I never thought, and I'm not even old. I never thought I would see a black man as president. Sure. Like never in my lifetime. I was like, they're never gonna let it happen. Like it's never gonna happen. And so just the magnitude of that, and just the emotion and the welling up, because I don't think my grandparents ever thought they would see it, and they saw it in their lifetime. I don't think my parents ever thought. It just wasn't a possibility. It's interesting because you live in a world, in a country, and they say America's the greatest country in the world, and you're like, really?
Mm-hmm. Well, people haven't dealt with that history, as we've talked about.
And as a black person, and as a black woman, I'm a double minority. I'm black and I'm a woman. I'm in two minority groups. Yeah. You live in two worlds. You live in the world that is black, and then you live in the greater world that is black, white, and everybody else. But at the end of the day, it's still a white world. And so you have to learn to exist in both worlds and go back and forth between them so that you can succeed.
Sure. Well, I saw a lot of that in the South, you know.
Yeah, like in the South, you have to exist in two worlds. And so it's interesting when you see people who are told that they can do anything and they're the best and everything they do is great, and you're told the opposite. Then to see someone come along and show that you really can be you're just as good and you can be just as great despite what these people are telling you or saying about you, and not to let anything get in your way. You might have to work harder. You might have to be better.
Well, I think, and that's what one of the things that's why it's not saying that I give necessarily Obama a pass on things, but like for me as a journalist and looking back at like objective records and his things on drones and the whistleblowers, it's like, okay, we can, you know, some of that mass morality comes in. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like that is a watershed moment, period, on an entire culture of people that have been underrepresented for time immemorial since,
not just underrepresented.
I mean, obviously, like taking the slaves. Yeah, straight up.
Oppressed, targeted and oppressed completely. And the thing is, I don't agree with everything Obama did. As no one, I don't think should. You should. Logical, if you're logical, I don't agree with everything, and I don't think he was just amazing because he was black. But just the fact that he was able to rally people around him to come out and vote in those numbers. Absolutely. Insane what he did. What he did, because during the first term, he brought people together.
Well, that was a proof of concept almost of like, hey, we can actually get people out and voting and doing things against what we seem to be like the existing power structure of like white patriarchy and those kinds of
and
things.
he got young kids out who were apathetic and who didn't care, who felt like they had been forgotten and nobody was listening to them, and they always underestimate the young people. Anytime there's really a movement and revolution, it's always the young people who get it started. But then they kind of write them off and act like they're not going to show up, they're not going to do anything, and then they got their ass handed to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at it because it's like, well, then it's that bounce back effect or that pendulum swing back, because it's like, okay, we're all good and everything's great and gravy, you know, with Obama, and then you get someone like as antithetical as Trump, and then all of a sudden, Obama looks like a saint. When whatever you want to say about him, it doesn't really matter. It's like just by the sheer fact that Trump is around and doing what he's doing, the guy looks like a saint. You know what I mean? Like a formalized person that's not a child. You know,
it just is like there was sanity in the world. I don't know if saint's going a little far, but you're wow,
sure. But there
was
idea,
some sanity and some intelligence. Where I feel like now we've entered the age of anti-intelligence.
Oh, well, that's a good point. Idiocracy and all that kind of stuff.
It's like hip to be dumb, and I'm like, who thought of that shit?
Hip
to be dumb.
Or when it's too much of like saying like, oh, I'm not interested, I don't read, and it's like when you are saying that and championing that, it's like, okay, I get that, but like you want to be known as someone who just doesn't learn or read. It's like, wait, what?
It's an era of anti-intelligence, and it's really interesting, but. You know, Obama represents so many things for Black people or underrepresented people, and Trump is a product of the good old American history of swinging that pendulum, lashing back. Like they were so mad that a Black man did this, and then they say he wasn't going to get elected again, and then he got elected again. It was another slap in their face, and so now they're basically strategically undoing every single thing that he did to try to wipe his legacy away, so to make like he didn't exist. And it's impossible to wipe him away because just like you said, the mere presence of Trump makes what happened before him even greater and even more paramount to our story. And if anything, Trump's going to get wiped away.
Right. Hopefully,
because people are going to want to forget this time.
Hopefully it's that other bounce back of
well,
like, holy shit,
when
this
you
is
go
ridiculous.
Well, hindsight is 2020 and 10 or 15 years down the road, people are going to be so embarrassed they're going to want to forget that this time in history ever happened.
And I think that's already happening now when like you look at people who are like not from around here, like in other countries, they're already looking at us like
they think we're out of our freaking minds. When you go to other places, they think we're crazy.
Right. So we've gotten done with that. Now this is the last poem of the life section. This is one of my favorite ones, and it's one of your shortest ones, but I think it'll kind of radiate through. So take it away.
Ascension. The past is history. Uncertainty is the certain mystery. Within the mystery unfolds tremendous untold possibilities. For the unknown is our friend, having no beginning, having no end.
So concise.
Yeah, I think it's the shortest thing I've ever written.
No, it's good because I think uncertainty and the unknown, it's something that we all have to deal with, just like we were talking about death before. You know, it's almost random. You know, you have to just deal with the things that you can't control. And that's a tough pill to swallow, you know.
It's hard to let go of because as human beings, we like to control and think we can manipulate or not even to just influence things and hedge them our way. And that's not always true. Sometimes you just have to give over to what's happening around you and find something within that you can hold on to.
And can't that be a form of catharsis too? Because you letting go, you're like letting go of those burdens and those kind of things that you want to get away with.
Yeah, there's that old saying, let go and let God. It's like whatever
right.
I can't, what's beyond my power, I have to let something greater than me kind of come in and trust in the process or trust in the journey and let things unfold as they are.